It's my favorite time of year. A lot of people think it's because of the wicked stuff, or the sexy costumes, or the candy, or the parties. But really, it's because when I'm not doing this podcast, and when I'm not delivering pizzas, which is my other job, some of you might know, I actually am the Tooth Fairy. So Halloween is a really good day for me because it helps speed up these cavities, get these things going, get these puppies out of there. Because ever since, the early 1900s, I haven't been able to forcefully take loose teeth out of children's mouths. I have to wait for them to fall out and go underneath the pillow. So, this candy, these Laffy Taffies and Abba Zabbas, they really help pull these suckers out. So thank you, Halloween, for providing teeth for my services. Because, my family wouldn't eat without you. So here we go, the Halloween episode of the Natural Habitat Podcast. I hope you enjoy it.
The Natural Habitat Podcast. The Natural Habitat Podcast. Natural Habitat Podcast.
All right, are you ready?
I was born ready.
Oh my fucking God, it's Halloween.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh my God. Oh my God, it's Halloween. It's Halloween.
It's here. We made it.
Mm-hmm. We fucking made it to the end of the month without dying. And my name is Mikey Booyah. Let's get that out of the way.
My name is Spooky Unknown.
Spooky Unknown. And you are listening to the Natural Habitat Podcast with Mikey Booyah and Spooky Unknown.
Boom.
Thank you for joining us. I'm glad that you made it all the way to the end of this spooky ass month. I'm really excited. This is my favorite night of the year. I'm going to a haunted house tonight, and I hear that it's supposed to be the scariest haunted house in the area, and it's going to be really good. I'm really excited.
Yeah, I'm excited for you. I hope you got somebody there to hold your hand.
Well, I should.
It always makes the scary experiences easier. I'll tell you what, I'm excited.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm super excited. We don't have to do no more Halloween shit after today. It's been a long-ass fucking month.
Yep, that's
right. A lot
right.
of episodes, a lot of fucking dark and spooky and horrific and paranormal episodes, and shit's going crazy.
See,
driving me crazy.
I, on the other hand, could do it all year long. And that's why we have this good vibe together, because we're both on, like different levels and come together, and you, in a way, keep me from just having this continue on as a spooky paranormal podcast like I would.
Halloween all year.
You'd be like, hey.
Mikey Booyah's Halloween World Podcast.
Oh my God, I fucking love that. That's an amazing idea.
Damn it.
You're just like, you're like, Mikey, come on. It's November. It's November 3rd already. Let's do this. Yeah. So,
wow.
So we're here on Saturday. We spent the morning in the Natural Habitat Podcast Theater. It's nice and refurbished, and everything's all brand new in there. They put in yellow carpet, which is very strange.
You're smoking extra loud.
But I think that Craig is losing it. Like, he's been really sad lately. You know what I mean? He came into work maybe twice in the past week since that unfortunate thing happened with Greg.
Well, how would you feel if I died? You'd probably feel like the same. You'd be lost without your co-host and partner.
That's very true, but after 2 days, I'd probably be fine. I'd get back to work. It's been at least 5 days, no work for Craig.
R.I.P. Just pour out some liquor for me. Just smoke a couple dabs.
Yep. And then I'd be like, the show must go on. And then I would probably just get someone to do your voice. To be honest,
who would take my place in a parallel universe? What other Joey Black is out there? Who thinks they could take my place on the show?
There's got to be another one. There's got to be another Joey Black out in another universe somewhere that's listening to this, and is gonna be like,
oh,
and he's like, I'm better than that. I'm better than that, Joey. Yeah. I don't know why you just unleashed that upon yourself, man. On Halloween.
I like parallel universes and spontaneity and fucking capabilities of things happening.
All right, man. Well, enjoy that. Enjoy the ghost of Vincent Price haunting your house. So
I invite you.
So this morning I fell asleep right away. I came in. I was a little sleep deprived from the night before, and I just passed out. So what was the movie this morning?
Halloween.
Oh, no way. The original Halloween with Jamie Lee Curtis?
The original Halloween. That would be the one.
All right. Halloween, or also All Saints Bloody Night if you are Swedish. That's what it's called there. So I don't want you to think that we're talking about something else. We're talking about All Saints Bloody Night for all of our Swedish listeners. So that it was an independent movie by John Carpenter, and it was actually one of the highest grossing independent movies of all time. And did you know that before it was entitled All Saints Bloody Night or Halloween in America and around the world, that it was originally going to be titled The Babysitter Murders Forever? Like, not The Babysitter Murders Forever, but that was the running name.
Babysitter Murders.
That was the running name forever. That was the name on the script. That was the name during production. And then it switched right in the end. So I think it was a great
And it's
save.
probably a good thing that it did.
Yep.
Because I feel like everything happens for a reason, especially in situations like this. And Halloween just sparked a fucking thing. And it had a holiday to go along with it. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, there was so many elements that made it the cult classic that it is. And them switching the name to Halloween was definitely a huge part of it.
Yeah. And I think it was a great call so that every year when it comes around, you remember it and you think about it. And fucking let's talk about young Jamie Lee Curtis in this movie Halloween. I don't know if she was born with a penis or not. We'll get into that later. But in the movie, she was super fine, and I thought that she pulled the tits out, but she didn't. And
there was some titties in there,
but they weren't hers.
But it wasn't hers.
Yeah, so that only half
She shows
counts.
them in another movie.
Yeah, but that doesn't count. She was older. But I don't know. I don't remember what movie she shows them in.
Me neither. But 70s Jamie Lee Curtis titties were nice.
Yeah,
Let's just leave it at that.
And she was casted by John Carpenter because of her mother's role in the original Psycho movie. Her mother was Janet Leigh, and she was the original Scream Queen. And Jamie Lee Curtis was the first, or maybe one of the first, victim / heroes in a horror movie, like a female victim / hero, where she rose up and fuck shit up. And it's dope that she came from this line of Scream Queens. I guess I'm gonna say Scream Queen a lot today. Get ready for that.
And it was her movie debut.
Yep, her first starring role.
Yeah,
which is dope. It boosted a lot of things. It was a tiny little idea that switched to Halloween last minute. They threw a lot of things together for it. Did you know, Joey, that the Michael Myers mask is actually a William Shatner mask that's fucking painted white? It's painted white.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. But I also found out something new about that fact that I didn't know. They reshaped the eyes. That's it. That's the only new fact that I know. So take that.
Yeah.
I think everybody knows that shit, but that just shows how small their budget is. Let me tell you another thing that was surprising to me. They shot the film in spring, and it was supposed to be Halloween. So what they did is they had a bunch of dead leaves. Like, they had a bunch of bags of dead leaves, and they would sprinkle them all over the foreground of the scene that they were shooting. And then shoot the scene of them walking down the street with all the autumn leaves. And then at the end of the shot, they would gather up the leaves again, put them back in the bags, and then go to the next location and dump all the leaves out. So they were like recycling the leaves.
Nice.
And they kind of made it Halloween-y. A little Halloween.
Pretty good.
It's a little Halloween
Pretty
fact
good.
for you.
Halloweeny.
Mm-hmm. So,
the movie was set in the Midwest, but wasn't shot there. It was shot in Hollywood,
really?
like all movies.
God damn it.
Hollywood and Pasadena.
And it was set in
You know what's
Illinois,
crazy
right?
is about living down here? It really ruins movies for you because going to all these places all the time and being in these neighborhoods and like places where they film a lot of shit, you notice that now. Like every movie, every TV show, I see shit now that looks so familiar, and I'm like, fuck, it like ruined it a lot of shit for me. You know what I'm saying? Like seeing all this shit, you could tell, oh fuck, this show's supposed to be set in San Francisco, and you see all these Hollywood streets and buildings and shit. I'm like, fuck, they're not even doing a good job covering it. You know what I mean? It's like lazy Hollywood shit, but you don't notice if you don't live in Hollywood because you don't, you know what I mean? You don't see these streets all the time.
Man, that's nuts. I thought that it was shot in Illinois for real.
Nope.
Haddonfield. I did find out some strange critics reviews about Halloween. There was a lot of people that said that it encouraged sadism and misogyny because the audiences could identify with the villain. It was, a really it like let you into Michael's mind. Because the very first scene is him, putting on his mask and killing his sister. And then he goes to the mental institution and then breaks out at 21. And it's kind of his story more than anybody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people said that that was, misogynistic and sadistic. And that also people said that it was about the youth and teenagers of the 70s because Michael Myers' victims were all sexually promiscuous and substance abusers. Every single one is like having sex or drinking or like smoking weed or something. And Jamie Lee Curtis is the only one that's pure, and that's why she lives.
Not true.
Not pure?
Nope. She smoked weed in the car with her best friend.
Did she?
Yep. And when they pulled up, because her friend's dad is a cop, and when they pulled up somewhere where there was alarm going off in a sporting goods store or whatever, and the cop was out front, and they pulled up and they were just smoking weed in the car, and they're like, "Oh, put it out, so your dad doesn't smell it or whatever."
What?
And then he acted like he couldn't smell it. And I was like, bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Because if they were just smoking weed in that car, that's the only thing you're going to smell when they pull up.
Yeah.
And then you see Michael Myers in the car behind him in the station wagon, sitting across the street at the stop sign, just watching what they're doing.
Yep.
And then they take off all high.
Well, maybe that's why he tried to kill her then. Because he saw her smoking weed. But since she just smoked weed and it wasn't that bad, and it's like, come on, man, it's just weed. You know what I mean? She wasn't drinking or anything. So that's why he tried to kill her, but he did not succeed. So it kind of makes sense. Everything adds up. He only kills kids that are bad. Misguided youth.
So the movie was shot in the spring. That's why they had to use the fall leaves.
Yep.
From bags. And the whole shoot only took 20 days.
Yeah, I've noticed that that's like a reoccurring theme in a lot of these iconic movies that we cover, is that the whole movie is shot in such a short time span. Everything's...
I think it's because they had less to worry about. They were just throwing it all out there. They're just getting the fucking movie done that they wanted to get done. You know what I mean? And they didn't have to like balance everything out. Like when you have a big budget to do a big movie, you probably have all these things and all these people that you have to fucking get to check off everything you do, right?
Yeah.
So like you always have a boss to answer to. You always have something like that. So you can't just do the shit the way you want to do it. Like you have to fucking answer to all these people. Well, in these scenarios, you just have this small amount of money and this small amount of time to do it. So you hire unknown or nameless actors. You go to a fucking location that is going to be easy or close, that is not going to cost you anything to shoot at, and you just fucking shoot the shit. You know what I mean? And I think that chemistry is formed and made in the moment, ad lib on the set.
Yeah.
Just like I feel like majority of things that we like have that same exact kind of chemistry. Is that ad lib chemistry? You know what I'm saying? So
and
it's
it's almost like a spur of the moment. They don't really know the influence that they're making, and I think that if you take it too serious, that's when shit gets too crazy, and you're shooting a movie for fucking 4 months. And
well, yeah, I mean,
these
you
people
could have $1 billion and to make the best movie ever, and you could probably still get it done, and it be the best movie ever. But I mean, you probably could have done that same thing with $1 million.
Yeah.
If you just let it be like organic, you know what I mean? So you just never know. It's like for me, in doing music, I've learned over the years that you just can't force anything, because if you force it, it's never going to end up being what you want it to be.
Yeah.
It's just like no matter how hard you try to like something, you're not going to like it if you have to try to like it. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can't force anything. You know what I mean? Like it's either it comes out good or it doesn't. And if it's not working and you feel like you got too much, scrap it and start over and start something new. You know? And I feel like movie process could be something like that. Like all these iconic featured films that we love so much, all have that blend of fucking just all in the moment.
Yeah,
right.
And
down
I think
the spot.
that I think that we've talked about this before, but for people that may not have listened to that episode, we were talking about the creative frequency at one point, and about how there's a theory that, you know, creativity is like a wave. How we were talking about the other day, how everything is waves,
right?
And or maybe we were talking about that on on next Tuesday. I'm not sure, but everything's like waves, like sound waves, radio waves. You can kind of, you can kind of map out whatever signal or pulse in a waveform. And there's some people that think that creativity is a wave, and that some people are more susceptible to tuning into it than others. So sometimes you get this pulse of creativity, and that's when, you know, painters will just paint without thinking. Writers will write, and just without lifting the pen, you just write line after line after line after line. It just comes to you.
Freestyle rapping.
Yeah, and that's just people that are able to tune into that frequency better than others. And, you know, I think maybe that has something to do with this. It's an art form. They're making movies, and they're just tuning into that creative frequency to where...
Well, yeah, and it also works where you bounce off of each other in the moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the ad-lib part, like we were saying, you know, it's like they're feeling each other's vibration, which makes it easier for them to, like, just react off of what's happening, you know? And it's the same way for us in the studio. It's like when we're working on some shit, we feed off of each other, you know what I mean? And that's that creative frequency or wave or vibration that we're talking about.
Yep. It's dope, man. So I think that's a good point to get into a smoke sesh. How you feel about that?
Feeling great.
All right. Well, everybody out there, go ahead and flick your bics and snap your pics and hashtag them with NHP Smoke Sesh. And go ahead and wear a mask if you would like. And if you don't want to show your face or post a picture of you smoking weed, then just go ahead and direct message us the picture. And
we'll post it so it doesn't have to say your name.
Yeah, we'll even blur out your face or do whatever. You know what I mean? If you want us to hide...
We just won't post your name.
Yeah. One of the two.
Wear a mask, put your hand over your face.
It all depends on...
Hashtag NHP Smoke Sesh.
It all depends on who gets the message, I guess.
Yeah.
So send it to us.
Some of us are lazy here.
Mm-hmm. Actually, you know what? I probably wouldn't blur their face either. So we're both equally lazy at this point.
Yeah.
And that's just what happens when you have a show that's centered around marijuana and, movies and nostalgia and shit. We kind of get a little lazy and don't really want to blur faces and eyeballs and shit. Plus, it's 2015, man. Weed is no big deal anymore. You can have a picture of you smoking weed out on the internet. You're not going to be put on a list, you paranoid bastard.
Yep.
All right, let's get into it. I hope everybody has their pipes packed and their nails lit so we could all get high.
Pretty scary. Pretty scary, no?
Man,
Amenibus.
Amenibus. It's crazy how iconic that fucking music is. That one score.
How many times it's been reproduced and remade, and fucking how it's still around and still so relevant.
Yeah, just over and over again, constantly. Right when you hear it, you know what it is, and it's like the best thing is that John Carpenter made the movie score for the whole movie himself, and he did it within the 20-day period of shooting. So it wasn't all done later during the editing stuff. Like he didn't have like months and months to do it. He like did it while he was there in his trailer and shit, and fucking just kind of banged out this little and then and it stuck, man. It's like it's one of the best jingles in the world. It lets you know that you're about to die.
Yep.
And I think it's dope that he made it himself. He didn't rely on anybody else to make like a big fancy score. He made something that'll stick in your mind, that can be easily reproduced so that it'll live forever. And he gets all of the money and residuals for it. You know what I mean? Like that money isn't going to some band that played the song or some producer that made the score for him or Danny Elfman. It's going to John Carpenter. So that's dope. He's doing it right.
Also, the script didn't specify a type of mask for the character. So, like, when they ended up picking Captain Kirk's mask, you know, like, all they said was it needed to have a pale, neutral features of a man. That's it. It didn't say, like, any type of mask. It didn't say, like, anything.
They were like, it looking like a man. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looking like a man.
It looking like a man.
It looking like a pale man.
Like a pale man. And then they got that.
Hey, that's funny. That was pretty good accent. I got a clip from the guy. I got a clip from the guy himself.
What
Mustafa Akkad.
The guy, the mask guy?
No, he's the producer for the movie.
All right, let's do it.
What convinced you to finance and produce box office smash, Halloween, a chiller?
Well, I mean, these films are the commercial part of it, where really are done for commercial reasons. When you make profit from Halloween, you put it in the films like this, which I put all my money into this one. I really was fascinated the way he was telling me the story. John Carpenter came and he was telling me the story in 15 minutes without a script. I was very just captivated. I saw the images and I told him how much it will cost. He said $300,000. How long will it take you? He said 5 weeks. I said, let's go. He came a week later. He said, I need $20,000 for a name, Donald Pleasance. I said, okay. And the film success, it made about 30 million.
Yes.
I don't know if anybody would know what really makes it.
And it really set a trend.
It set a trend.
It set a trend. One after another.
One after another, but they are all successful because the kids, they go to see it as an excuse to hug your girlfriend because of a scary scene and all this. Always an excuse to break the scene.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's an excuse. He looking like a man.
They hug a girl. You know. Hey, that's cool though, man. $300,000 to make the movie, and made over $30 million.
That's crazy.
Back then. Now it's totaled at like $250 million. So, I mean, $250 million in 30 years or whatever, 40 years, right? 40 years, 38, something like, I don't know.
That's nice.
I'm not good at maths.
Yeah, we can all tell that now. Everybody knows. That's why I don't do live math.
That's a lot of money, dude.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I'm saying?
And
that's fucking 1,000 times your money.
Another fun fact from this film. It's a lot of fun. I hope everybody's strapped in and has a smile on their face, because this fact is fun. Even though it is one of the classic horror movies. Like when you think of horror movies, you think, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, all these classics, and blood is only seen 3 times in the entire film. So they didn't really rely on gore to, drive the movie. A lot of movies are constant blood and stabbing and ripping and all this.
Yeah, but
shit.
what does that have to do with Halloween?
What do you mean? What's that have to do with Halloween? Blood?
Gore doesn't have nothing to do with Halloween.
Yeah, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Gore fits in with Halloween perfectly.
It fits in.
Yeah.
Now it's a thing, but Halloween existed before that shit existed.
Yeah, but Halloween was always to do with spirits and ghosts and ghouls. So if you think of spirits,
okay, but that's not gore.
Have you not seen The Sixth Sense? That was some nasty spirits, bro. You haven't? You haven't seen The Sixth Sense?
Yeah. I'm just fucking dude.
Well,
I get it, dude. I get what you're saying. I'm just.
You're just. No, you're just joshing me. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Joshing my squid. So, what? There was something that what were we talking about? What was the fun fact? The blood. Oh yeah, it's cool that they didn't rely on it, because a lot of horror movies rely on that gore factor. You know what I mean? When you think about this in contrast to Nightmare on Elm Street that we did last Saturday, and how many gallons of blood did they use in Nightmare on Elm Street? It was like fucking 3,000?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, some crazy amount. And there was just like, it was just 300 gallons in the bed scene or something like that. I don't know the facts that I spit off. I don't remember any of this. But apparently I'm the king of facts that I can't remember. So I'll take the title. So, yeah, man, fucking, it's cool that they didn't rely on it like a lot of movies do. They kind of went with the story, which is an iconic story. And I'm going to bring it up, even though it's kind of not allowed, because we're just focusing on the first one. But Rob Zombie's remake was a perfect adaptation of it. You know what I mean? I think he schooled it. He kept the story the same, pretty much. And made it true to what Halloween is. And, if anybody hasn't seen that, you definitely got to go enjoy that as well as the first one. And also, take another movie that you like and enjoy that. Watch 3 movies in a row. It's my advice.
Yeah. Another fun fact.
These facts are fun. They're getting fun.
Jamie Lee Curtis bought her own costumes at JCPenney, all for under $100.
And
so it's like the main cast provided their own wardrobe for the movie.
So she bought it out of her own money?
Yep.
I found out that
smart investment. You gotta invest in yourself. You know what I'm saying?
And then she could just put those in the closet for like 20 years and then sell them and be like, "Here's the outfit."
Yeah, like not even knowing that one day there would be this thing called the internet, and then there'd be this other thing called eBay, and you could just fucking sell random shit that you wore one time a long time ago, and people would want to pay like $1 million for it. Who knew? Well, maybe she still doesn't know, and maybe she'll listen to this
because she'll see it and she'll be like, oh, I was in that movie.
Yeah.
I'll listen to this. And we're going to talk about it. And she maybe will go through her closet and put some stuff on eBay. And we'll get a little slice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, hook us up with a 10% tip.
Yep.
That's the natural habitat.
10% tip. But we don't want to tip of that supposed dick that may or may not have been in your pants at one time.
Stupid.
So did you know that 3 different people played Michael Myers in the movie?
Nope.
That there was did you? No, I did not until today. But there was,
I do now.
He was primarily played by Nick Castle, and then when Nick Castle wasn't available, he was played by production designer Tommy Lee Wallace, just to step in whenever needed to do little shots. And then at the end, in the scene where his mask is taken off, actor Tony Moran plays him, and he got paid $250 for 1 day's work as being Michael Myers when his mask gets taken off. But that scene right there, he got credit for being Michael Myers the whole movie, even though he wasn't. You know what I mean? But they took off the mask and it was his face, so everyone's like, whoa, that actor did this whole thing. And then he got all these different spots on the Waltons and on Chips, and he was on a bunch of different shows. And he was really only there for 1 day, and he just laid on the ground and provided his face. So I thought that was cool. He kind of swindled a career out of it, out of a $250 job.
Yep. The Thing makes a cameo. The movie The Thing. Little Lindsay Wallace is watching it on TV.
Yeah,
in the movie.
And then John Carpenter remade it shortly after that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's super dope. So it's cool, how they connect everything, like we talked about before, like movie universes being connected. You know, like that's a treat for everybody.
Like watching Evil Dead and Nightmare on Elm Street and the Hills Have Eyes poster and Evil Dead and all that.
And it just leaves the idea for like possibilities of like alternate things happening in the connected universes. Like it's always open ended now. Once two movie universes are connected that way, it's open ended forever for other possibilities to happen.
Yeah, it's like it connects all of the official horror movies. I don't think that you're actually a horror movie unless you're connected in this web of references inside of horror movies. You know what I'm saying? Like it's almost like that game where you like try to link 2 celebrities together. And you're like, Kevin Bacon was in, like, Wild Things with Nev Campbell, and then Nev Campbell was in Scream with fucking so-and-so, and, like, you know, go down the line like that. So, I think that all of the solid, you know, like, classic horror movies that are going to go down in history in the horror genre, because every day there's new ones that are all stupid, you know what I mean? Like The Human Centipede, everybody raves about that. But the Human Centipede is not going to be, you know, mentioned or shown in a reboot of one of these classic horror movies. They're going to bring up some sort of like really good movie that's come out within the past 10 years, and then that'll be adopted into the circle. And it's almost like a fraternity. And what they do every Halloween, right? The makers of these movies that have been mentioned in other horror movies, they get together in this old like mansion in Hollywood. It's actually the place where Little and Big Edie live from what's her face? What was that lady's name that was married to John F. Kennedy?
What?
Come on, Jackie O. You know Jackie O?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jackie O's niece. They're super crazy. Have you never heard of these ladies? Big Edie and Little Edie from Grey Gardens? Dude, watch. I think it's Grey Gardens. Watch Grey Gardens on documentary. It's like on documentary. The Grey Gardens documentary on YouTube. All right? I'm too excited now. I'm too excited. It's amazing, dude. Like these 2 ladies, they used to be Hollywood royalty, and like they live not that far from you, dude. And they used to be Hollywood royalty and go to all the parties and all the events. They were part of the family of Jackie O. And then at one point they were banned from the family because like one of the girls didn't wear the right dress to a wedding. She wore like a slutty dress, and her dad was like, "Get out of here. I don't want to see you ever again." So they just live in this mansion. It was nice when they moved in, and now it's all run down and condemned and like infested with raccoons. And fucking they lived in there for fucking like 30 years, and the city was trying to kick them out and they wouldn't leave. And these kids went in and did a documentary, and Jackie O had to come and like remodel the house for them, paid enough just to get it up to code to where they could live in it, and then she bailed again. And they had to sell all their things. They were selling all their spoons, like their silver, one spoon at a time to buy groceries and shit. It was crazy, dude. These ladies are nuts. And they all go to this lady's house, right? Because they're dead now. I think both of them are dead. So they go to this mansion where these ladies used to live, all of the creators of these movies, right? And what they do is they just kind of kill virgins, you know? It doesn't really matter the age or the gender.
That's how they come up with their next movie picks.
Yeah. What they do is they kill virgins and they harvest the screams. They record the screams because it's the acoustics inside of the old house, and they use them for tracks. They actually, you know, pass them on to each other, and they're like, "Here you go, buddy. Here's a new scream track for your next movie." And it's kind of like a tradition, like an old horror tradition that a lot of people don't know about.
Nice. Huh.
So, Joey
sounds like a cartoon episode or something. I swear I heard that before. Those two old ladies in the mansion and shit.
That's because it's
I've heard that story.
That's because it's real. I'm not even trying. Look, half of that story was fake. All right, but the half about the ladies in the mansion, all that shit was real. I swear to God. Like I can't make that up.
Well, we should go there tonight.
Yeah, I'm down.
It's Halloween.
Because they're all gonna be there killing virgins. So
maybe we could bust up in there.
I've had sex before. Joey, have you had sex before?
No.
Shit. Can you have sex before we go?
Maybe. This is Hollywood.
All right, cool. Go find someone to have sex. I think a handy might count too. And then you'll just be like, "Nah, we're not virgins anymore." So, because I think they can tell.
So we don't get fucked at the horror movie pick.
Yeah. Well, otherwise they'll kill us, man. They're gonna kill you.
That's funny. Maybe.
So.
Well, I have the original movie review that made the movie popular.
That's right, from Siskel and Ebert, yeah?
Yeah, and this is like they do a review and play a clip at the same time. So it's pretty cool.
Dope. And this was this was the original review from like the 70s, right? And
yeah, it's old.
So this was actually the thing that boosted the movie. It really wouldn't have gone anywhere because it was an independent film, but it was from word of mouth and from the critics and shit why this movie made it to where it is. So this is actually a piece of history, this clip right here.
Yeah.
So lay it on us.
There is a difference between good and scary movies and movies that systematically demean half the human race. There is a difference between movies which are violent but entertaining and movies that are gruesome and despicable. There is a difference between a horror movie and a freak show. And a good example of that is the fact that both of us gave favorable reviews to a very scary 1978 horror film named Halloween. Now there must be people asking, how could we praise a movie like that and now say these other movies are so terrible? Well, here's a scene from Halloween. It's got the same basic situation as all the women in danger movies have. There's a woman alone in a big house. She's being chased by a killer. But let's look at it first and then talk about some of the differences.
I'm going to take a little walk.
It's the boogeyman. I'm scared.
There's nothing to be scared of.
Are you sure? How?
Killed him.
You can't kill the boogeyman.
Good job on that score, John Carpenter.
Yeah. One note.
Okay, this clip's really long. I feel like I'm going to cut a lot of it out.
Okay, that's Halloween, a horror movie we both think is pretty good. Very good. One of the things a short scene can't show you is that Halloween is directed and acted with a great deal more artistry and craftsmanship than the sleaze bucket movies we've been talking about. But there's another much more important difference. As you watch Halloween, your basic sympathies are always enlisted on the side of the woman, not with the killer. The movie develops its women characters as independent, intelligent, spunky, and interesting people. Halloween does not hate women.
Yeah, when I saw that scene, I must admit I wasn't really worrying about the woman as much as I was placing myself in that closet and thinking about that killer, how I would handle it. And I was also appreciating the fact that I think Halloween not only doesn't hate women, but it loves film and filmmaking. That music is just fabulous. The way he starts one theme and lays another thing on top of it, keeping the other theme, really good. Also, the light coming through the slats in that closet. This is a film that's sort of up. That scene is up, and you're jumpy, rather than getting depressed and feeling sorry that you're even watching it. An upbeat thing.
I think what you're touching on here is that artistry can redeem any subject matter.
Sure.
That's why I've always been opposed to censorship. I don't believe any subject matter should be off base.
Right.
The question is, what does the artist do with it? How does he look at it? How does he put it through his art in order to make a statement about it, or to make it into either a commercial film or a serious film? I believe that in the case of a movie like Halloween, we can engage in that joy of filmmaking that you talk about. That's not the case with the other films that really address themselves to the lowest possible common denominator.
So we're not knocking scary pictures,
no,
per se, just a certain
It's crazy, right? Like,
yeah,
that's cool. That's cool to see that they were sticking up for freedom of like speech and everything and expression and everything. Like, they didn't want to be censored ever. You know what I mean? Even the critics were opposing censorship. You know what I mean? Because everything is like an artistic art form.
Yeah.
So it's like, how are you supposed to be able to like push boundaries or like, you know what I mean? Or like really be different than anything else if you're not even allowed to, if you have to worry about being censored, or like who's to say what you can say or what you can't say, and what type of rating they give you to say who can see your movies even, or what age, or like, you know what I mean? Like, and that's cool. We're still on the same tip. Like, that's why we do things through the internet. So we have freedom to do whatever we want to do, and nobody can censor us and tell us what we can say and what we can't do. If this was like, if we were on a network or something like that, we wouldn't be allowed to smoke weed on every episode. And we wouldn't be able to say the things that we want to say.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be able to fucking talk about these movies or do any of the things that we want to do without having to go through proper channels and suffer through all the bullshit.
Yeah, they'd give us a list and be like, this is what you guys talk about. So
yeah.
And I think, like they said, it's dope that they changed the point of view, that you weren't watching it feeling, disgusted and scared, because there's movies like Hostel. Like, the first Hostel was in the point of view of the victim, and the second one was in the point of view of the killer. So you get to see both sides. And in the first one, it's like really unsettling. You feel like sorry, like he was saying, you feel like sorry and sad and all that shit. But
scared. Yeah,
and they kind of flipped it around to where you're in the point of view of the killer. And it's cool that Siskel and Ebert, they're so dope all the way up until there's only one of them left, right?
Yeah, Ebert, and I don't think he died too.
Both. So there's no thumbs for anybody. And
at one point, he didn't even have like a jaw left on his face anymore.
Yeah,
he had like jaw cancer or some shit, and he had to like have it all cut out. And he was still doing reviews, just doing it online and shit. Like, he still
had both of his thumbs though, right?
Yeah.
All right, good. So yeah, it's cool that they put it in a good way. They could tell the difference and convey it to the people to where it's not like, because in a way they were saying it's for the killer that's inside of all of us, but they didn't say that, because if you say that, you push a lot of people away. But everybody has that primal instinct. It's inside of us that when someone hurts you or fucks you over or steals from you, you're supposed to kill that person, like in nature. You know what I mean? You show dominance, you kill that fucker, and everybody else goes, don't fuck with Mikey anymore. You know what I mean? So that's how it's supposed to go. And everybody, that's not a bad thing to have inside of you. That's just instinct. That's what we are. And I think that they did a good way of capturing that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. And I think that they have always done a good service to like, because I feel like general public doesn't take the time to dissect things. I think a lot of people go for whatever reason, the entertainment factor. They see something once and then don't even think about it ever again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or like, you know, like there's a lot of scenarios to where like, not like a critic on the other hand would have to spend their time and actually dissect the films and like notice every little thing. So they're doing a service by showing you like different points of views and everything, and pointing out differences and what you should look for in the films and what makes the films good and everything, and it allows you to form a better opinion on what you're seeing instead of just like going along for the ride type of thing. You know what I mean? So
and
it's
that's
like,
that's what true filmmaking is, and that's why we do these Saturday matinees, because we love film. It's like I don't want to go as far as to say Joey loves movies, but I'm going to do it, and that's going to be the name of this episode, Joey Loves Movies. And we're going to share it on Doug Benson's everywhere and just piss him off. It's going to be great.
Shout out to Doug.
Yep.
Shit.
Uncle Doug is what we'll call him, because he's old, and he has been doing podcasts for a little bit longer than us.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Uncle Doug.
Uncle Doug. That's creepy. What a creepy name. I remember...
Spooky even.
I was listening to this guy. He does podcasts. I found him on iTunes, and he's actually like pretty unknown. A lot of people don't know that he does this podcast, but it's really good. It's called the Joe Rogan Experience. Have you ever heard of it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think I've heard of that actually.
They were hating on Doug Benson the other day, like hardcore. Did you hear that?
In the group?
No, on the episode. On one of the episodes. It was it was the most recent one with him and Brian, and they were he was like, fucking Doug Benson is like the most horrible representation of the marijuana community. Like, he's the worst. He's just like way too high all the time. Like, he can't even function. And it's like, Joe will smoke weed and he'll like eat edibles, and so will like Joey Diaz, but he can still like talk and function. And
what do you mean he can't function? This fool is touring and making more documentaries than anybody.
Yeah.
And he's fucking,
and I think
he's got 3 or 4 podcasts, and he's fucking like, he functions more than anybody.
Yeah.
If anything, they're not doing as much as him.
I think that what he's talking about the most is like how he presents himself and how he acts, but he doesn't get that that's like almost like a character. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Look at what's his name from Half Baked?
Jim Brewer.
High Eyes. Yeah, Jim Brewer.
Yeah.
He probably isn't even high all the time. He just looks that way.
That's how his face looks.
I feel like Doug just has a dumb high look all the time.
No, Doug's just super high all the time. But he also, I think that whenever the camera goes on, like, he'll be talking like this, all like, all right, so we're going to do this, and then we're going to go into the episode, and then, you know, we're all just going to, I got these pipes packed, and then they go, all right, action, and the camera goes on, and then he's like, hey, everybody, and he gets like, like, just like stupid, like his brain isn't working.
Does.
So, but it's a character,
does.
like, it's part of his thing.
I agree. That's what I'm saying too. It's definitely a character, and I think they're just harshing on him. They're just fucking with him. I don't think that they like really don't like him.
But I do. Yeah, I don't think so either. But I do agree that if it's between Joe Rogan and Doug Benson, Joe Rogan is a much better representation of a stoner to the world.
Well, yeah. Well, what I guess
because Doug Benson
holds a normal job at the UFC, or
well, no, just because Doug Benson is what everybody thinks a stoner is, like us. You know what I mean? Just like and just like always talking about weed. He never talks about anything else ever.
Right, he's a stereotype.
Yeah, so everyone's like, "Yep, that's it, fucking stoner." I don't want my kid to be that. You know what I mean? But if Joe Rogan's out there like, "Hey, you fucking saw me on this, you saw me on that. I hold this job at UFC." Like, I have these podcasts with intellectual conversations with cool-ass people. Oh, and I also smoke weed every fucking day. Then you're like, oh, well, I guess it can't be that bad. You know what I'm saying? I'm not hating on Doug Benson at all.
I'm sure there's plenty of fucking scientists out there that smoke weed every day.
Yeah, there's people from
like,
all walks of life that smoke weed every day.
Yeah, so I mean, like, I wouldn't go as far to say like Joe Rogan's the best representation.
No, he's not. But I'm just, if it's between the two.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, I don't know, dude. I think they both do a service, right? Like, they're both in the public eye, and they're both fucking supporting marijuana, and that's all that matters. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you gotta be for it, because it's fucking stupid to not be. I mean, and the cool fact for us is that in the last 10 years, the amount of people that use in their 20s has doubled.
Yeah.
So it's like people are getting rid of alcohol and cigarettes and everything else, and everybody's fucking smoking weed now.
Yep.
So really, those opinions, people don't need to cater to those who have to worry about people's opinions about, oh, I don't want my kids around people who smoke weed, because people don't think that way anymore.
Yeah,
the next generation is us, and fucking we don't give a shit.
Yeah, and
you know
that's why we can have a podcast where we just talk about smoking weed and shit all the time, and we smoke weed every episode, and we could still be successful and gain new listeners every day. And not be, you know, shut down or shunned, and people be like, look at these drug addicts doing drugs on their podcast.
And talk about Michael Myers' mask being motherfucking Bill Shatner's face.
What are you saying?
5 times in 3 episodes.
What are you saying? They didn't make their own mask? They used a different mask?
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah, we said that a lot. That was a fact it's funny because all right, for people that are officially upset now that I've said that so many times, it's just because every year around Halloween, like, I always see, like, you know, like some BuzzFeed list of Halloween facts or Halloween this and Halloween that. And on every single fucking list, every single one, it says the Michael Myers mask was a William Shatner mask painted white.
Yeah.
Swear to God, and I fucking hate it. I'm tired of reading it. So what I do when I hate doing things is I make other people go through them so that they feel my pain, so I'm not the only one. So now you guys hate it as well.
Boom. I got a bonus fact for everybody. Are you Reggie?
I am.
Are you Reginald?
Mm-hmm.
Hashtag Reginald. In the original film, Michael Myers is officially credited as the Shape, and is never referred to as Michael Myers anywhere in the entire movie.
Except
the only time his name is spoken is at the beginning when his father discovers that he had killed his sister and exclaims, Michael.
Yep. That's dope.
Boom. Bonus facts.
But then the sequel was made in, I want to say 81. When was the second movie made? Yeah, 1981, Halloween 2. And then they, you know, got into the story of who he was and everything. And that original one, it's interesting that they never really, it kept him like a mystery. And then also, in a way, I think that they were doing it, they did that for a reason, and it went along with the whole point of view of the killer thing. How in the beginning, he like put the mask on his face, you were seeing through his eyes, and then the dad's like, Michael! And Michael's a really common name, you know what I mean? Like, it's my name. Yeah. So I would see that, and then I'd be like, whoa, I feel like I'm here doing this. And then the rest of the time, he's nameless. So that way you can relate to him better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It's a good trick. Good little trick.
Yeah. Is the guy who plays the doctor and the same guy in all the movies?
The Sam Loomis guy?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Is he?
It looks like the same exact dude. Like, was it the same dude all the way up in the new movie and everything?
Let's see. Let me find this here. I want to say that it was not. No, it wasn't. Because this dude is like all fat and already pretty old, so. Dr. Sam Lewis, Donald Pleasance? Yeah. This dude's old as fuck, and his whole IMDb is all black and white pictures. So. I don't think that was it. I think that guy was only in...
He looks really familiar. Like, I've seen him in other stuff.
I think he was only in that one Halloween movie. And the Rob Zombie ones. You know what I mean? And then I think it was the second Rob Zombie one, or during one of the Rob Zombie ones, and he was all young, and they gave him the long gray hair, and he looked super creepy. You know what I'm talking about?
Nice.
Yeah, Rob Zombie schooled it, man. Fucking
yeah, he's pretty dope.
This is definitely a classic horror film and one to enjoy on the day of Halloween. So that's it. Guess what, Joey? Guess what?
What's up? Halloween's over.
Halloween's done.
Hey, shout out to everybody that take your time out of your Halloween to listen to this.
Yep.
Hope everybody out there enjoys the fuck out of their Halloween. Get lots of candy, rotting your teeth out, smoke a lot of weed.
We hit you with some horror, and then now we're going to hit you with some thanks during this month, and then some cheer the month after that. So we're gonna build it back up.
Yeah.
So
everybody stay safe out there tonight.
Yep. Don't go get graped at any Halloween houses.
Yeah, no grapage. Peace, bitches.
The Natural Habitat